It's going to be a busy few weeks, brother. Oh, but I am back.
Welcome to Market Makers, everybody. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. It is a gorgeous day in Florida today, but I want to get this video out because something I warned about last video. All it would take is a single post from Trump or the Trump administration giving any clue, any hint, any sign that the war could be unwinding and starting to settle down and the markets would rally. This morning, Trump sent that post. Crypto ripped higher. Markets ripped higher. Oil fell 14%. Shortly thereafter, Iran came out with their own message saying nothing is true. Negotiations are not occurring. So let's look and see how this affected the market because this is really key. Did we break key support? Has my view changed? Because my view is when the retracement's done, going into a summer rally. Gonna jump into everything right now. Guys, you wanna trade these markets? Check out SimpleFX and BitUnix. On BitUnix, we have a 20% deposit bonus going on right now as a Market Makers VIP. And we have a tournament going, and there's no KYC. Anybody can join it. Check out those links in the video description. You guys want these videos on YouTube? Join our Market Makers membership with the join button right there. You can also take that to join right into our Discord where we can banter and talk every day. Let's look at the S&P. I covered this cycle, the cardinal points in the market last video, but quick recap because we just hit the spring equinox. The two cardinal points in the market, spring equinox, fall equinox. This cycle began with a bottom in the spring equinox after the pandemic sell-off, a bottom the week of. When we talk about these pivot points, we're talking about the 30 days surrounding the spring and fall equinox. Then in 2022, we had the S&P top, S&P sell-off, market rally back up, and we topped within 2 weeks of the spring equinox and then sold off 25%. When did we bottom? Right around the fall equinox within the 30 days. Then we rallied. Then we had another 10, 12% retracement. When did we bottom? Within the 30 days of the fall equinox. And of course, brings us to last year. When did we bottom? Within 30 days of the spring equinox. And we just had the spring equinox once again. And we just had that catalyst come into the marketplace with Trump's tweet sending everything higher. Let's look at the S&P. Key support level, 6,500. 6,500 on the S&P here. This is your key support level. You came down to it. Let's just look at the structure here. You have a rounding top formation. This usually forms a type of spring. As I've told you guys for weeks now, when people say, when are you going to get bearish? Lose a support level, fail a retest, I'm bearish and I'm shorting, right? Or spring up back up, fail at a lower high, maybe make a double top, whatever, break down, then you can have your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder, then I'm bearish, then I'm shorting. This is an intermediate term uptrend all the way back to April 2025. Everything globally, Bitcoin included, bottomed on April 7th. Strongest turnaround rally in stock market history. You've been going sideways in a range. You're testing the bottom of the range. And every time we've tested this range going back to October and November, everybody told you everything is collapsing, including back down here. You're getting the same message now. Now, war is different. You could have an event, an unforeseen event that occurs, and you could definitely sell off more. That's a possibility. However, I do think after this retracement's over, we are rallying. Why do I say that? Because we hit my 2025 target of 7,000. My next level target is 7,500. I believe we're going to rally up to 7,500 into the summer. Then you will have a top and a sell-off with the midterm election. Covered some of the other cycles in the past video, but this is what I think is happening. And for me to be convinced otherwise, we have to lose support, get a failed retest, either retesting your prior support, which is now resistance, or bouncing up and failing right around 6,800 and rolling over. Those are the two areas that I'm looking at. And we can check this with our Fibonacci from our all-time high. Pull it down to your current low here. And then let's go ahead and throw this 618 on there, right there at 6,800. So that would be a failure point as well. If this rally sputters out, 6,800 or slightly above, and then you roll back over. Then I'll be looking more bearish. I'm not bearish here. This to me typically resolves in a spring with a retest of a high, either a lower high or you break out and move to the upside. Let's look at the indicators while we're on the S&P. RSI did not get oversold yet, but you are bearish on the RSI. Your volume, you can see the conflict here, the fighting going on with bulls and bears. This wants to resolve higher, in my opinion. Why? You guys know I don't care about fundamentals. You know I don't care about other people's forecasts, but I look at the market is at all-time high in earnings. Earnings acceleration is a real thing. We've had most of the market now underneath the hood already experience a correction, and everybody's bearish. AAII is showing that there's twice as many bears as there are bulls, and you see this reflected in the fear and greed. You're in extreme fear. This is why you are seeing the bear cast all over the channels. I like to use, you guys have heard, you guys that are older, right? Or closer to my age, you're familiar with the magazine indicator, right? Thinking about .com, GFC. Well, my magazine indicator is the podcast. I like to use David Lin's podcast. Go look at the titles of his guests from the last week or two since this has started. Worse than 2008. Everything's collapsing. 20-year collapse. That's the titles. There's your magazine covers. I'm on the opposite side of that. I'm a contrarian. I believe in extreme fear. I'm looking to buy, and I think this is going to hold up until market structure is broken. Crypto also in fear. So that's how I like to be. So this setup, guys, just watch the S&P, see if you can hold 6,500. Watch your market structure just beneath it as well if you were to come down more. But overall, this is exactly what you expect to see. Fear with the conflict, fear with the media narrative that everything's collapsing, and as soon as there's any hint of resolution, everything goes back up. And I think we're going to get to that 7,500 target. We look at the NASDAQ, same concept, 23,840. That's your key support level. Where am I bearish? Lose it. Bounce back up, retest it, and fail. I'm bearish. Or roll up, fail at a lower high. I'm bearish, but I think you're going to break out once the retracement's done because we hit my 2025 target of 26K and I have 28, which is 4,000 points higher to get to that next level target. That's what I'm looking for, and I think you're going to get that as this thing starts to resolve, okay? Again, check your indicators real quick. Everything's bearish because the price action's been bearish. RSI bearish, volume's bearish, but you see the chop, momentum is bearish. Let's jump over to cryptos. Jumping over to Bitcoin, this is real simple. Let's take a trend line from your all-time high, draw it down, touch that point, right there on your January 14th high, and you can see some similarities in your chart. You have a three-wave move. Wave 1 down, wave 2 up, wave 3 down. You're working on the next uptrend to the upside. Is this a three-wave correction with a reversal breaking out to the upside to some higher level targets, or is it going to break down? I mean, you can just see how clearly this lines up. Look at your higher lows you had here with your trend line. This formed the trend line, the white resistance trend line. You had higher lows in here and you failed. You changed levels to your next level. You once again have higher lows in here in trend. Your key test will be right at the trend line, and you can find confluence for this. This is going to be right around that 76 to 80K, depending where you test that trend line. But you can find confluence with this with the 54 RMA. Look how this played out on Bitcoin. There's your top right here that you did January 14th. And here's your 54 snaking its way right down the trend line. You're going to test this. And this is where you're going to determine if you're bullish or bearish. Remember, you have to be able to hold two thoughts in your mind at the same time. Intermediate downtrend. You peaked in October. This is an intermediate downtrend. Currently, you are in a near-term uptrend. You can see it in the indicators. You can see it in the higher lows. So that's your two thoughts. Your test will be the 54 RMA and the trend line to break out to the upside to do what? To form a counter trend rally. How do we get targets for that rally? Take a fib retracement, all-time high, pull it down to your low. Let's add some more fib levels. If we look at the 50%, if we look at the 382, And let's throw the 786 on here as well. I'm looking at my two core targets of 93K on Bitcoin at the 50% fib. Lines up beautiful with this prior market structure. And of course, the 618, the most commonly retraced to fib, and that is 100K. If you can come up and flip any of these, a common reversal zone is the 618 to 786. You guys hear me refer to this as a kill box, and that is where you can reverse from as well. However, on the bullish side, if you flip the 786, you have a bias to make a new all-time high. That's all forecasting. That's not what I'm predicting. What I'm predicting is a summer rally up. Okay, so you have to test these levels first. You have to test the 54. You have to break through the trend line. And I'm looking as a target at 93 and 100K. Those are the two levels I'm looking at for Bitcoin with a breakout. It's very clear, very simple chart. All of you can draw this. Follow me on X at Market Canary as well. Quick check on the indicators. Look at your volume, right? You can express volume a couple different ways here. My volume delta, my Desmond. Does that look bearish? You have your sell-off. You have your wave up, you're holding the higher low. That is bullish. Look at your RSI since the 59K bottom. That is bullish, right? Uptrend in RSI. Look at your volume aggregate expressed as a wave. You're in bullish buying volume. Look at your momentum since the bottom. Bullish momentum back at the median line. Everything near term is bullish with a key test coming in front of you. Trend line, 54 RMA. They're going to meet. You failed before. Can you pass the test the second time? That's going to be key. You have to flip it to the upside to break out, or you could be breaking down and level changing once again. Flip it over to Ethereum. Same concept, trend line from your high. Touch point. You have a touch point coming up somewhere around 2,400. 2,500 in that region. You have to exit this trading range. You rallied right up to 2,200 again and failed. Near term, uptrend. Intermediate term, you are in a downtrend. If Ethereum can flip, let's check the 54 RMA. It's probably the same because it mimics Bitcoin. Look at this, 54 RMA on the daily with the trend line here. That was a failure point. Level change to the downside. You can see it right there. 54 RMA trend line. That's your test. Flip it. Going up. My target's 3350, 3750. It's a 50% fib and the 618. If you fail, you're going back down, entering the trading range. You could break the trend line and you could level down once again. But again, my bias is simply just a forecast. I think everything rallies into the summer. Guys, hope to see you on the Discord. Hope you enjoyed the video. Follow me on X at Market Canary. And everybody, have a fantastic week. I really appreciate you guys watching. Take care.